Good morning. It's 7:30 on your Friday, January 31st, the end of the month here. Welcome to Breakfast with Bridgett. I'm Bridgett Ellison. It's good to be with you, and we're getting you ready for the weekend. Lots going on. Really good weather lined up for you, too. A little bit later, we will talk to an expert live about some of the schemes to avoid this tax season, and we'll be checking in with our Corey Murray about Black Men Sundays and his special guest this week's podcast. But first, let's get you ready to head out the door. And Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos is in the Pinpoint Weather Center, really warming up. And we have the Pro Bowl going on, lots of things to do this weekend, Candace. And so glad to have that sunshine back.
I know. And we're going to get a lot warmer later on today, as we are going to see the first day in the 80s so far this year, which, for the last couple of years, we've hit 80 degrees much earlier in January. But it looks like we waited to the last day of January. So I can't say we spent the entire month below 80 degrees because Mother Nature doesn't like when I can group things into a nice, fun little data point. But at the end of the day, it is going to be a warm day. If you like temperatures in the 80s, you're going to love today. We are bringing another front in, though, tomorrow, and that's going to cool us down just a little bit for one day only. And don't worry, we'll get right back into the 80s before you know it. So let's take it to the maps and show you what's going on outside. We are going to be flirting with records today. 84, that is our high this afternoon in areas in and around Orlando. Then on Saturday, again, a weak front comes through. Maybe a brief early morning sprinkle will be possible with temperatures a touch cooler. Now, it is going to be significantly cooler than what we're experiencing today. It's not going to be the coolest air we've seen so far this season, as we'll drop about 10 degrees. So we'll go from mid-80s today, mid-70s tomorrow, and then after that, it is going to be nothing but an uphill climb with those temperatures. The only thing we're really seeing impact weather-wise is this morning, and that is our dense fog. Right now, it's not extremely widespread. We have a little bit of those special weather statements, but no advisories. And the reason for it is that it's not very widespread. You notice there, it's very splotchy right now. Visibility continues to decrease in some of our reporting stations from New Smyrna, Cape Canaveral, Ocala. Visibility about a quarter of a mile or less, where up and down the I-4 corridor, it continues to fluctuate between about 2 to 4 mile visibility there. Once we get the fog out of here, look at your highs this afternoon. Our coastal communities might be the only spots staying in the 70s, but everyone else west of I-95 will be into those low 80s, up to about 84 degrees or so. So with that being said, there will be the chance at least getting close. I don't think we're going to be smashing any records today, but we could get close to records. That record to beat in Orlando is 86. So back in 1982, we're going to be about 2 degrees shy of that. Other than that, Sanford and Leesburg, it looks like our highs could stay in the low 80s, but we, of course, will be watching for that potential of getting close to records. So look at that. You can see sunny skies throughout the afternoon today. Notice where our winds are coming in out of those streamlines there in red, coming in out of the south. That's going to continue to pump in that heat and humidity, making it feel warmer and certainly increasing those temperatures. But then overnight, that cloud cover is going to keep our overnight lows pretty warm tonight. And then there goes that brief chance of an isolated sprinkle or two by about sunbreak. Early Saturday morning, that front comes through. It will take a little bit of time to work out that cloud cover. But behind that cold front, our winds will veer out of the north. And automatically, the moment our winds come in out of the north, we're going to get back to near normal, back into those mid-70s with a couple of those lingering showers possible for areas of Orange and for Osceola and Brevard County into tomorrow afternoon. So our lows tonight, because of all that added cloud cover ahead of that front, temperatures could actually stay in the low 60s almost area wide. Then tomorrow, behind that front, again, we're mid-80s today. We'll go to mid-70s tomorrow, and then the warming trend will continue. Look at the banner there at the top of your screen. This is the Climate Prediction Center. This is what they're forecasting long range between February 6th and February 10th. Well above average. It's not like a light orange or a light gray showing kind of a near normal outlook. We are looking like we're going to be clocking well above that average mark, about 72. That's our average for this time of the year. So get used to those 80s. It looks like winter is on its way out. Now, could we get a couple days here and there throughout February that could cool us back down into the 70s? Absolutely. But it's really going to be hard to knock out the warm air once it settles in here to Central Florida, and that looks like it will be doing so through most of next week. No matter what, that cute little rodent, Puxatawny Phil says, early Sunday morning on Groundhog's Day.
It looks really nice, Candace. So you said that because of the warm up this week, it would have been a record-setting month, but the average is sort of balanced out here at the end.
Right. The last week or so, because we really warmed up fast into the mid to upper 70s and a day to day like the 80s, that's going to overall move our average of January up a little bit. So, where if we wouldn't have had that warm up that we've had this past week, it would have been one of the coldest Januaries we've seen on record. So, but
Yes.
as Florida does, we like to swing the pendulum quite extreme. So we'll go really, really Arctic cold. We're high stayed in the 40s for like 2 days. And then we're going to end the month in the mid 80s.
Listen, it snowed in Florida.
It did snow.
Come on. Wow.
I know. So, it was just a very interesting month. It started off cold, ending warm, and it looks like February is going to be staying nice and toasty for Valentine's Day.
Very, very good. All right. Thanks, Candace.
Um,
See you in a bit. All right, let's check in with Trooper Steve. He is going to be headed out today, and he teased us this morning about what he is up to today. Good morning, Steve.
Oh, good morning, Bridgett. Yeah, I'm going to be trying to recruit somebody from the News 6 crew. So what I want to do is like once a month, no matter what the situation is, welcome somebody in from the team, no matter what their job is, no matter what they do. If they're an employee here at News 6, I think our community needs to really get to meet some of the behind-the-scenes folks, on-air folks a little bit. So not sure who's going to get in the truck just yet, but I'm going to start making my rounds here and recruiting somebody. So that will be at 10 a.m. We have a busy day here at News 6. We have an amazing breakfast for some of our senior staff that have been so amazing to us. So we're going to be doing that. And I just want to make sure that I'm close to the building today. So that's what's happening. But unfortunately, Bridgett, our roadways, we are still watching a pretty nasty fatal crash this morning. Yeah. So FHP now is out on scene at this. Traffic homicide has showed up, and they have now shut down both directions of the roadway along Rhode Island Wood Circle using kind of Fairway Glen as the center point. But so you're getting turned around there. This is the issue. This is out in our Meadowwoods community, South Orange County, North Osceola, right around 417, east of Hunters Creek, west of Lake Nona. So I zoom out of here a little bit so you can see where I'm talking about. We're talking between the Turnpike and Boggy Creek. So I try to give these references because this could affect, because this is highly residential, this will affect probably several thousand people within that area. So the good thing was I saw it this morning. It was the first time I even texted the watch commander because I was so proud to see this. The law enforcement officers were walking and escorting the students through a safe area of the crash scene so it would not inconvenience school bus traffic. So that was pretty cool to see. But unfortunately, this is a 2-car crash, 1 death already reported out on scene here. So it's going to take some time to clean that up. Earlier, we had a crash eastbound along I-4. Correction, westbound at the 67-mile marker ramp there. That's going to be your ramp to Epcot Center, your downtown Disney, I'm talking age, your Disney Springs area. I don't think I will ever be able to say Disney Springs without just dropping in downtown Disney there. Do you know I saw a commercial the other day about Pleasure Island? It was crazy.
It just popped up.
It popped up, right?
Oh,
it was insane. So it was a reel. That's what it was. Candace saw it. But outside of that, we're looking pretty good. Oh, it was plenty of parties, right? What, mannequins had the spinning dance floor or something? What was that one? I don't know.
It's definitely rebranded for sure.
Oh, because all the clubs and all that stuff was crazy. I used to do Kodak as a kid. I used to be with the pictures and stuff down there. Oh, memories. But we're looking pretty good across Central Florida this weekend. Be super busy. We have the Carrie Ann DeMont Foundation dinner tonight. So tickets are still available if you want to show up for that. That's going to be over at the C3 Church over in East Orange County off of Lake Underhill. We have tickets available. You can show up at the door. I've got the Flagler Sheriff's Office Gala Saturday. And then, Bridgett, if you're looking for something to do with the kids, you need to burn off some energy. Sunday morning, Icon Park. We have the very first inaugural first responder 5K run that's going to be taking place through the entire Icon Park area. Bright and early in the morning. I'll be an ambassador for that. I am not running.
That's fun. That's really fun.
It's going to be a good time. That's why I was really curious about the weather. So
yes,
we'll see what happens.
Good news with the weather there. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Steve. We'll see you a little bit later.
See ya.
We do want to get to a few headlines this morning. We are learning more about that deadly midair collision that happened in Washington, D.C. We've also learned there is a Florida connection. That pilot trained here in Central Florida. And News 6's Angie Casada has more about some equipment that has been pulled out of the crash site.
Dive teams resuming recovery efforts this morning in the Potomac River as investigators comb through wreckage, trying to figure out what led an American Airlines regional jet and military Black Hawk helicopter to collide Wednesday night. All 67 people on board both aircraft were killed.
We want to make sure we get it right. We take our time. We involve a lot of people, a lot of parties. That's the best way to make sure that we don't let tragedies like this happen again.
Officials say both aircraft were at 400 feet when they collided near Reagan National Airport, but military helicopters are supposed to stay below 200 feet. Another potential factor, only one air traffic controller was handling both helicopter and plane traffic at the time. Federal guidelines require two.
As part of any investigation, we look at the human, the machine, and the environment.
It is so tragic, and we've learned more about the pilot of the American Airlines flight. He trained at Embry-Riddle, and News 6's Mark Lehman has more on that part of the story.
A picture of Jonathan Campos was posted on Facebook last night by Epic Flight Academy in Ormond Beach. That's where the captain earned his certified flight instructor training. He also graduated in 2015 from Embry-Riddle with a degree in aeronautical science. The university releasing a statement saying they're deeply saddened to learn about the passing of Campos. Our thoughts are with his family and the families and loved ones of all impacted by this tragic accident.
My heart and thoughts go out to everybody that's impacted by this.
News 6 spoke with Professor Michael McCormick before learning Campos was piloting the American Airlines flight.
Immediately my thought is that this needs to be investigated in great detail.
The other pilot on board the jet was 28-year-old Samuel Lilly. In a post on Facebook, his father said he was proud of his son who learned to fly in 2019. As for the investigation, McCormick says he's also thinking about those in air traffic control whose jobs have come under scrutiny.
Only the best, only the capable, and those who've gone through an extensive, detailed training program rise to become an air traffic controller.
And we have much more coverage on all of those parts of the story at clickorlando.com and more. We're taking a quick break. We'll be right back with more about avoiding tax scams and schemes this tax season. Welcome back. We want to talk about tax season right now. We have Lynette Owens from Trend Micro joining us this morning. It's good to see you again, Lynette.
Great to be here, Bridget.
Well, we know we have that, the W-2s and all the statements and forms coming in now. So what is it that's happening now with the scammers in terms of tax season? Because there are so many options when it comes to getting your taxes done. So what do we need to look out for?
Oh, yes, it's that time of year again. And the scammers never take any vacation. Criminals are always trying to take advantage of any moment to do their thing. So with tax season, I think there are 3 different kinds of categories of scams that we all need to be looking for. And it might come to you in an email, a text message. You might even get a phone call about it. And so the way I like to think about it is the scams that are designed to help you save money. Those are the messages that say, if you click here, if you use our service, we're going to help you lower what you owe. Those are one of the types to be really careful of. The other is that try to stay out of trouble. Messages that say, actually, you owe a little bit more than you probably think you did. So you better take this action or click on this link or call this number so you pay back whatever it is you owe. And the third kind is a scam that's designed to appeal to your good side, support somebody else with their taxes. So I'd like everyone to think about either, this tragedy in Washington, D.C. or the fires in California. There are scammers who are going to try and message you and say, support our organization. We're going to help those families lower their tax burden this year because they've gone through so much. So those are a few things to look out for.
Mm-hmm. Even the IRS has been warning people about scams where people impersonate the IRS. It's gotten really tricky now because there are so many things impersonating brand names and agency names that you know and trust.
Absolutely. And I think it's really important that to trust your instinct if you're seeing this, never give any information directly on an email response or on a text message. If you're really wondering if it's legitimate, call them directly or work with a professional tax preparer that you might be using every year. But yes, they're going to be very active as we've seen every year. This year will be no different.
And what's troubling to me is that you do get emails from, say, like some of the tax brands that you might use their software, or you might go into their offices. You might get emails from them or text messages from them, or they want you to use their app. So how can we really know for sure what's legit and what's not? Because a lot of these emails, text messages look real.
Yeah, they certainly do. And AI is making it easier for scammers to create content that you're not going to be able to tell between what's fake and what's real. So one of the first things you should absolutely do, always use security software and keep it up to date on your laptop, even on your phone, if that's your favorite device to use, or a tablet. The other thing you can do is make sure that you are double checking. So if you do receive an email like that, go ahead and double check that directly with, let's say, your favorite tax software, tax filing software, or whomever it might be that's the sender. Make sure that what you're seeing in your email is also being communicated on their website. And the last thing you can do is actually potentially use a very specific kind of service called an anti-scam tool. And we at Trend Micro actually have developed one called Trend Micro Scam Check. All you need to do is download it from your favorite app store. And basically anything you see come across your phone, snap a picture, send it in to us, and we'll tell you if it's a scam or not.
All righty. Well, we appreciate the information. It's always something to keep in mind, and we appreciate your time, Lynette.
Thank you so much, Bridgett.
All right. Take care. We do want to check in with News 6 photojournalist and host of Black Men Sundays, Corey Murray, getting us ready for another episode that'll be coming out fresh this week. Good morning, Corey. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. How you doing?
Good, good. I'm excited to have you back. We haven't seen you in a while, but you've been hard at work with some different things because you're covering the news, you're doing the podcast, and so much more in the community too. So what's up for this weekend?
Yeah, so definitely. Well, first off, even though it's super late, I have to say Happy New Year. It's my first time on the show in 2025. You see, I got a new look and all that.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
yes.
Yeah, first off, Happy New Year. Even though in the Black community, on Black Men Sundays, we always say after MLK, you don't say Happy New Year. But
is that
we're
so?
gonna break that rule today. Yeah, we're going to break
just
that
like
rule
we say
today,
Happy Friday on any day because it's a mentality.
There you go. Even on Monday. But let's get right into it. Black Men Sundays. So I'm going to just warm it up. The show that's already out. We had 2 nutritionists come on the show. Check that out. We're talking about portion sizes, how much meat. Because I think I was putting too much meat on my plate. They said you're only supposed to put a palm size of meat on your plate. But I'm like, I like my steaks like 12 to 14 ounces. So that's not going to work. So that show's out now. But the show that's coming up this Sunday, I spoke with Monica May and George Ashford. People may know Monica May. She's a radio producer, Star 94.5, and a host. And her husband has over 40 years of catering experience. This brother here has catered for Oprah Winfrey and Michael Jordan. So, our show's about generational wealth, finance, and business. So I came out the gate. I said, okay, our show's about generational wealth. You guys have a business. How are you guys spreading the generational wealth amongst your family? Let's roll that soundbite.
Corey, when you talk about generational wealth, let me just add that our family is able to run our business. Our son manages the food. Actually, our granddaughter manages both of our companies, and our son does most of the work for our catering business. And it gives George and I a chance to just create more and build on what we already have.
And I would like to say that through the years, all of my children, most of my grandchildren have worked in my businesses.
Yeah.
They've actually grew up working in those different businesses. So they were able to see firsthand hard work, dedication, complete the task, do it right. And, I would have like my grandson, Papa, can I get this? You can get whatever you want. I'm going to go to work.
Yeah.
And if I ask him one question, what is my philosophy? If you don't work, you don't eat. It's just that simple. Many of them worked in the business and they don't want anything else to do with it. That's great. But
They've touched it.
They've touched it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like how she said they touched it, because I have so many friends that are, older. I was kind of young, but I always hung around people 20, 30 years older than me. So I see a lot of those brothers now in their 60s, early 70s, and they're saying, man, we done built this business up. Our kids don't even want it. They just want to sell it and get rid of it. So that's why on the back end of that bite, I put that there. But this show is very great information. We talk about how couples go in business together, the do's and don'ts of that, because things can get a little rocky with that. We also talk about sponsorship tips. Monica May she's also the founder of Let's Spill the Tea, which is a 501c3 nonprofit. So we talked about, how do we set the nonprofit up? Should we get a lawyer? Should we do it ourselves? Because I'm trying to do it myself, because I don't have the $1,200 for no lawyer, but I can pull a little $400 out. So I also asked them, in business, what's the ultimate role? What's the ultimate goal? I'm a little rusty. It's my first time this year. Let's roll that soundbite.
Your ultimate goal is to create money while you're not there.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate goal.
He taught me that.
Yeah. So while we're on the beach, we're making money. That's your goal. Now, a lot of people want to start off on the beach to say, but you gotta build whatever business it is. You have to build to the point that you're able to duplicate yourself, where you're able to have other people duplicate your image. So if you're on the beach and you're, hey, you can look at your laptop and say, hey, wow, okay, we're doing good here. You can send emails back. You can communicate if necessary. But that's the key thing.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
Yeah, and that was interesting because in setting up this interview, like right before the show, Monica May was like, it's been a rough day. My husband wasn't even sure if he wanted to come on the show. And then, we kind of warmed him up a little bit and he started talking that talk. So, they're the owners of CB Bistro Jazz Club in Orlando in the Metro West. I've been there twice. The food is phenomenal. And like I said, this is a great conversation when we're talking about generational wealth. We're talking about community fairs. She's a community fairs expert. She's also the owner of Monica May Communications, which she does image consulting for professional athletes, and she's also a media coach. So see, a lot of people just know her from Soul School Sundays and hearing her on the radio, but y'all don't know she gets it. Her and her husband, they're getting money together. And
yes,
this is
they are
awesome.
everywhere. They're
Sundays.
Everywhere. I saw them this weekend at the Anchors of Hope Gala, which was honoring the charity McCall's Hope, which helps people with kidney disease who are struggling to make ends meet. So they honored her with an award there. So they are definitely such a great resource in the community for wisdom and really leadership. So we appreciate that. Looking forward to hearing more of their advice, Corey. Thank you.
Definitely. And that drops this Sunday at midnight. All podcast platforms. It's going to be on News 6 Plus if y'all want to see the video. You can check the YouTube as well. Black Men Sundays dropping this Sunday. I'm excited about it. So many gems. I told Monica May, and even one of my brothers on the show told Monica May, we're going to have to listen to this show like 3 to 4 times to really grasp everything. But luckily for me, I get to edit as well. So I get my knowledge from the editing, and I can play it back, and so
you covered a lot. You covered a lot with them. Sounds like you'll check in with them a few times a year. So.
Oh yeah, I might even do a couple shows at the bistro. So there we go. Do some
that
live
would be
stuff,
fun. That would be fun.
Yeah.
All right, Corey. Well, thanks so much for stopping in. We'll see you later.
All right, see you later. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Corey. All righty. So before we go, Kathleen, do we have time for everything? We have time for everything. We want to tell you about Zora Fest that starts today in Eatonville, honoring, of course, the literacy legend Zora Neale Hurston. And there's always something new at Zora Fest. So this year, Orange County Public Library System has some festivities, and one event encourages kids and teens to explore graphic novels. It's a genre that's very popular with kids now. They love them. And here is my co-anchor, insider guide, Crystal Moyer, with more on that.
I just love drawing digitally because you can go in really close. Suppose I wanted to have him smiling. I can just, with my stylus, go in here, my paintbrush tool.
Jerry Kraft doesn't just illustrate pictures. He's an author in the fast-growing graphic novel genre. Kraft saying they're more than just big comic books.
I put as much of the story arc and the character arc and the plot in my graphic novels as I would if I was writing a regular prose novel. So you're not being shortchanged.
And Kraft is well accomplished, the only graphic novelist to be awarded the Newbery Medal for outstanding contribution to children's literature for his graphic novel New Kid, along with the Kirkus Prize and Coretta Scott King Author Award. The book following the journey of a black preteen navigating the culture shock of a private school. The story based on Kraft's own experiences growing up as a kid in New York City.
Every day I went from this primarily African American and Latino community to Riverdale, which is this affluent community where there weren't many people of color, of trying to fit into this world that sometimes isn't accepting as you would like it to be.
The story now shared in more than a dozen languages. Kraft also published 2 additional books in the series, Class Act and School Trip.
It was showing kids that they can travel.
This weekend, as part of Zora Fest in Eatonville, honoring Black literary legend Zora Neale Hurston, Kraft will be hosting a Meet the Author event at the library, sharing the art of storytelling and encouraging people of all ages to read.
One of the things is that I always start out with is telling kids how much I hated reading. And then I always get the, they're like, me too, me too, me too. Because I think a lot of kids think that as an author, that you grew up as a bookworm.
The Meet the Author event at the Eatonville branch of OCLS takes place Friday and is free. You can learn more about OCLS and the other events part of Zora Fest on clickorlando.com/insider. Crystal Moyer, Getting Results, News 6.
So make sure you check that out and all the other great events happening, and head over to clickorlando.com/insider to see more too. So that's going to do it for us. We'll see you again at noon. Have a good day.